On BBLB, we know how important good education is. So today's lesson, double science. Hello there, hope you're very well. It's day 21, my friends. The time is 5:28. This is Big Brother's little brother, or Malankaya Piridaka Rizu U Shaya Bulashu U Karten Nu, as I say in Russia. Hope very well today on today's show. A lot to get through, a lot of interesting stuff on today's show as well. Psychologist Dr. Rob Young's here, trying to get into science head. Science is, can he do that? It's a tough nut to crack. He's going to give it a good go. And Lisa Faulkner's here. Oh, lovely Lisa. She's a friend of the show for a good old natter about the housemates. But first, we kick off as we always do. I hope you don't mind. With Little Brother's Big News. At 10:34, after what can only be described as a loving, Big Brother generously allowed the housemates a lion. Believe we might have found a new dance move from Anthony. I only thought he had 3 in the arsenal, and I believe there might be 4 now. At 12:04, after last night's hot date with Anthony, Makosi was more determined than ever to keep her man. Take a look.
Anthony is mine, people. Relax, okay? He's Makosi's.
You can all have him and share him between you.
No, I don't share goods.
I'm waiting for the new man to come.
Now, that might not make that much sense at the moment, but OMG, you have to watch tonight's show to see what Makosi and Sam got up to with Anthony. At 14:07, with only £1 each per day to spend, the housemates completed their first shopping list and then trusted Maxwell to take it back to Big Brother. The nincompoops.
It's got 3 chickens here, but I want some booze. So I'm afraid one night this week we're going to have a liquid lunch. So we're going to have 2 chickens. Holes.
Naughty, 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 naughty boy! That was Little Brother's Big News. So, there's been some tension in the House following the nomination discussion early in the week with Derek, Roberto and Craig and the like. So, what will happen after either Derek, Roberto or Sam leave on Friday? Today's Cool BBLB is quite simply, how will this week's eviction affect the House? These are the numbers to call. OK, it's been a stormy week for Captain Science with, surprise, surprise, a few arguments along the way. But is he Science the Great or Science who greats? Let's see if psychologist Dr. Rob Young can help us out. Hi. Rob, nice to see you again. Thanks a lot for coming on. I think science fascinates me more than any other housemate because, for me, as the first housemate's gone in the house, he hasn't particularly bonded with anyone as yet. He hasn't sort of affiliated himself to anyone. So we were going to talk about him for the next few minutes. Let's start with his name, that he's changed from Kieran to Science, or Science the Great. What does that say about him?
Well, I think a lot of people, when they're trying to escape a really humdrum existence, you know, they're sort of Mr. Average at school or whatever, and they're trying to recreate themselves. When they go away from, leave school, go to a new town, they try and recreate themselves in the, shape that they want to be.
Sure. But, in terms of, it's not like abbreviating your name to K or doing, actually calling yourself Science the Great is quite something, isn't it? It's going to extremes.
Yeah, that might hint at sort of a fairly significant ego under there somewhere. He wants to be fantastic, he wants to be memorable.
OK. Now, he doesn't really seem to be bonding with anyone else in the group. That's no disguise, and everyone can see that. But why do you think it is?
I think, actually, it's because he's actually quite shy. He's quite an introvert.
Oh, sorry, I've got some mic problems. Do you mind doing the old Jackson 5 thing there?
Yeah, so he's actually quite introverted, quite shy, and he's the kind of person who, he just can't find sort of an emotional range, so he's either quite shy or he becomes very aggressive, and you can't do anything in between.
It's very hard for people to deal with that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, because he can be a nightmare, or he's just sort of sitting on his own,
Sure.
in his own thoughts.
OK, well, I mean, there was quite a lot of asked of him this week. He was randomly selected to be captain for this week's pirate task. I want your take on this. Let's have a look at how he got on.
I tried to be firm, as a captain is.
Each morning the seaman must sing the captain a pirate style
Talk in your normal voice so we can understand better.
Can't understand.
Of course you can't, anyway, right then.
I tried to be the character as how a captain of a pirate ship would be. That never worked. Why are you shouting this, that and the other, yeah? I says go to the crow's nest, you're not listening, yeah? I say it nicely, yeah, you're not listening. You've got to listen to the captain. I'm trying to put you in your place.
I'm not in no bad mood, yeah? You're behaving
This is shouting, yeah?
And
This is the talking. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen.
Then you're ignorant.
I don't want to listen because I listen to you lot all the time. I try to keep, basically, an efficient pirate ship, yeah, and the task. I've been trying to keep it going in many different ways, and it just doesn't work. You can't please some of them, innit?
Now, he had huge problems with the leadership of the pirate task. Why do you think that is?
I think he misunderstands the nature of leadership. So he subscribes to a really old-fashioned command and control school of leadership, which is basically pushing people about, telling them what you want them to do. Whereas nowadays, most leaders are actually much more democratic.
Mm-hmm. OK, but in terms of how he was with everybody, do you think he could have been like that a bit more, or it would have been accepted a bit more had he been not likeable, but certainly sort of, you know, more accepted as a silverback or a leader to start with?
I think there's something that everyone can do to try and make themselves more likeable as a leader. So he could have asked people for their advice, their comments, and said, look, I'm the leader. You know, it was by luck that this happened. You know, let's do this task.
Do you think the rest of the housemates respect him or not?
No, definitely not.
At all? Because he just seems to give his opinions all the time. And as far as sort of I can see, he never ever backs down. I mean,
yeah, he's constantly in project mode, so he's always telling, always, you know, sort of opinionating, if there's such a word, and never listening, and that's what he needs to do more of.
OK, so what can he do? How could he handle that role better, do you think?
I think, you know, it is like herding, I don't know, pigeons or something. Those people don't really want to be led by anyone.
Yeah.
But if he had asked them and said, you know, look, you know, we've got this task to do, how can we do it? You know, help me out, guys, then he would have had a better job. OK, now we've seen his confrontational side, but he also has the sensitive side. Take a look at these clips from tonight's show, 10 o'clock.
You threw a cup of water in another housemate's face. Big Brother deems this attack to have been unprovoked and will not tolerate threatening behaviour in the Big Brother house.
I understand the situation.
How did you feel when I threw water in your face?
I felt intimidated and shocked that you would have done that to me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't pleased.
Should tell you what it was, yeah. I just felt a bit wound up, yeah. And two people were just grilling me at the same time. And I was hungry, I was tired, and a bit nostalgic. But, you know me, being an older person in all of it, yeah, I've had time to think about it, yeah. So I apologise.
That's fine.
As me, Science, and as Mr. Kieran Fitzgerald, Dan Harvey. So
Thank
do
you.
take my apology.
I do accept your apology. I'm sorry if I have upset you.
It's cool.
Interesting. So what do you make of his apology?
Blimey, well, I'm gobsmacked that there is this other side to him, because, you know, the thing that I thought that was that, you know, he can either be quiet or he can be loud, but not actually show his human side, which he was doing there.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Oh, and what, in terms of the fact that he went back and used his original name, Kieran Fitzgerald, Dan Harvey, in terms of the fact he went back and used that name, I mean, what does that tell you?
Well, I think most of the time he likes to live in this larger-than-life persona which he's created called Science. And he was really saying, look, this is from me, from the heart. And that's his attempt to show that he's being really sincere.
Sure. So what does he need to do now to build these relationships, to sort of, you know, if he does stay in for a good few weeks, I mean, how is he going to build those relationships so he can actually have fairly good relationships with the housemates?
I think exactly more of this. Show his human side. You know, even though, you know, sort of he's a tough dude from the ghetto, you know, show that, you know, he is scared, he is a bit insecure, he's
Probably
unhappy.
stop talking about that as well. The more he talks about being a tough dude from the ghetto, the more kind of isolated I think everyone else sort of...
Yeah, so shows human side and people will warm to him.
Sure. OK, Dr. Rob, thank you very much. OK. Let's put on the science there. After the break, find out how you could be with a chance to win all this. Riches beyond your wildest dreams. Ooh la la, ce soir. And the lovely Lisa Faulkner is here as well. We will see you in 3. Welcome back, day 21. The time is 5:41. Ringing in my ears. Still to come, lovely Lisa Faulkner. Where is she? But first, prize fans, it's time to find out how you can win this week's suitcase full of Big Brother goodies. Look at it, isn't it beautiful? All right. Every single week we give it away. We've got the duvet set here. We've got the tickets, of course, to come down and scream at whoever gets evicted. We have Captain Science's hook, the costume he actually wore while he was doing the task. It still smells of bilge water. Shall I give this a go? It's not even nice fishy smell. It's like a couple of days old fishy smell. He gods, get rid of it. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have much sought after Big Brother, Little Brother, Tita. To be with a chance to play the competition on Sunday, you've got to answer the following question correctly. The question is, Craig, Derek and Roberto were excluded from nominating this week after discussing which housemate. Was it A, Saskia, B, Maxwell, C, Sam? Give us a call. 09011 300 344, 09011 300 344, or text us comp and then A, B or C to 83188. The lines close at 6 p.m. tomorrow, so get your skates on. On Monday's show, Leslie randomly selected, Lord knows how she did it, that we should visit Kemal's hometown this week to find a little bit more about the Turkish belly dancer. This is what happened.
Hi, I'm Kemal's dad. Welcome, come on in. Come on in, I'll take you up to Kemal's bedroom. Kemal is not the tidiest person in the Big Brother house, and he certainly wasn't the tidiest in the house here. This is Kemal's primary school.
He was a lovely boy, eloquent, bright, and we're all keeping an eye on him.
This is Kemal's hairdresser here.
Wish him all the best. Go on, my son.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kemal's mum. I think you better listen very carefully to what I'm saying, because Kemal is an actor, a dancer, a singer, rolled into one long sari.
Kemal should win because he's the most entertaining person in the house.
The housemates nominated for eviction this week are Derek, Roberto and Sam.
We all know Roberto and Kemal don't get on very well, so do everybody in the Shahin family proud by voting out Roberto.
Who else would bath in a bin?
Come on, Kemal!
It's the definition there of young Turks. She's been a nurse, a detective, and an MI5 agent, so whatever happens in the house, we should have it covered. It's Lisa Faulkner, everybody!
Hello.
Apologies for my fishy hands. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
You enjoying it this year?
It's my favourite.
Your favourite year?
Ever. Yeah.
I know you. You're a good Big Brother fan. You always
Huge.
watch every single year.
I do.
Why do you like this year?
Because nobody cares. They
That is
don't
true.
care about being mean.
Yep, that is true. They don't care about each other either.
No, not really.
OK, so who are you going to vote for to evict this week?
Well, I'm going to vote for Sam because I really want Derek and Roberta to stay in the house because I think they're value.
More than the fact you don't like Sam?
I don't really like Sam. I think she's a bit boring.
Please tell me. I need to know why women don't seem to like Sam.
Do you know what? I don't know, because I was talking to my friends, and none of my friends like Sam either. And I think she's just not very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of just keeps going on about sex, as if that's, like, really the most exciting thing that she's got in her life.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot else to her.
OK. Who do you think will go? Do you think Sam will go?
I think she might. I think it will be Sam or Derek, which would be such a shame.
Why do you think Derek could go?
Because I don't think people like Derek. But I love Derek.
Why do you love Derek so much?
Because I think he's so funny, and he's so outrageous, and he's so posh.
Yes.
He's brilliant.
He really is posh as well, isn't he?
Yes, very posh.
OK, as an actress, you're used to high drama. We're going to have a look at some of the most dramatic moments of the last 3 weeks. You'll love this.
I refuse to diminish my character to survive. I refuse.
Vanessa's broken her leg.
How do you know?
Because she fell off a bed from, like, really high. We need help! Vanessa's broken her leg!
Look what they've done! Somebody come and look! Oh my God!
To me, shut up. You get me? This is how ignorant I am.
Jerry! You want some food? There you go. Here's some food.
What?
and now I'm having to wash off paint.
You're going to get an Oscar, darling. Best VT ever! OK, firstly, Makoshi's performance. You love Makoshi,
I
right?
love her. She is so beautiful and so fascinating. I could watch her forever, even though she is really self-absorbed.
Yes.
But I think she's just hilarious.
So, out of all of them, who do you think's genuine? Who do you think's putting on an act?
I think that the most genuine person in the house is Maxwell, because I think he must be just like that, out of the house.
You can't act that.
And I love him.
You do?
He's my favourite. I want him to win.
You seem to like everybody.
No, I love him and Kamal and
Okay.
Makosi.
And Derek.
And Derek.
OK, good. Getting through them
And
now.
Saskia.
And out of all the housemates, who would be your leading man?
I think it would have to be Maxwell.
Do you fancy Maxwell?
Just a tiny bit.
That is such a guilty pleasure. No one has yet to come on. That's unbelievable. You're the first person to come on the show and say they actually
I think
fancy
he's
Maxwell.
so funny.
That's wonderful. You're married. You're
I
married to a
know.
really good-looking
I know,
man,
I'm
and you
sorry, I
fancy
know.
Maxwell.
No, I fancy my husband.
No,
much
you
more.
fancy Maxwell. It's over now. OK, before they went into the house, we asked the housemates to describe themselves in 3 words, but have they lived up to their descriptions, or are they, like you, acting a brilliant part?
Ooh.
Like that? I wrote that bit. Using 3 words and what we can only describe as the pen of truth, I'm handing the baton over to you now that is the pen of truth. We want you to express your views in the housemates. We will then compare what you think of them to what they think of themselves, what they said about themselves before they went in the house. Come over. We'll start with Craig. 3 words you think would describe Craig. And then let's see how close...
Shall I go?
Yeah, go for it. It's the fairly, subjective opinion. It's the fans' opinions. So someone's been watching the show. Oh, I like it. Inverted commas, wonderful. We've got Catty. Wannabe. And spiteful. Do you think Craig described himself as Catty, wannabe, and spiteful? Why do you think he's like this? I mean...
I think that his audition tape was the
Terrifying.
meanest, nastiest tape I'd ever seen, and I hated him from then on. And he didn't do much to endear me to him, apart from that bit that you showed, which I thought was really funny, and I felt a bit sorry for him then.
Do you not think he's a great housemate to have in the house?
No, I don't know, because I think he's so mean. I think he can turn really nasty. And I think he's a little bit of a sort of wannabe, like he wants to be like Marco and have his, 3 people all around him, his Team Britney. And I think it's a bit done. And he could have thought about something a bit more different to do.
Hey, look at this. Catty. Look, she's standing next to the word Catty and she's good in there.
I'm sorry.
Let's take a look at how he described himself.
Funny, fabulous and fit.
Hello, love. Funny, yes. Fabulous, arguable. Fit.
Never.
Big old man boobs. OK, next up, Roberto. How would you describe Roberto? Judgmental. Ooh.
And...
Self-righteous. OK, I don't think there's any argument there. But do you think it's quick
No,
to
but
judge?
I also think this.
Firework display noises. Wonderful. So, insecure. Why insecure?
I think he's really insecure because he sort of flicks from being really sort of quite nasty and judgmental, and then the next minute, after he's been horrible to someone, he goes and sort of sits on the bed and talks to them and tries to say nice things, like all childish, and you think, oh, he's really insecure. He wants to be sort of quite nasty and brash,
but
he's not really.
You like
I
him
don't
or not
think.
like him?
I do like. I think he's value.
OK,
in
let's
the
take a look
house.
at how he described himself.
Genuine, funny, and a bit wacky.
A little bit wacky. OK, and lastly, we move on to Maxwell. Just tell us how you think, we'll do it differently here. Just tell us how you think Maxwell described himself, not what you think of him. How he described himself. She knows. Let's take a look.
Off the hook.
No surprise there to find out he was winking at a blonde producer when he said it. Doesn't look unlike you. Oh, maybe you never know. Lisa Bolton, everybody. OK, so Derek Roberto and Sam are conviction, but who do you want to see the back of? Here's how you can vote. We haven't got long left, so let's get cracking. Today's cool BBLB is how will this week's eviction affect the house? Lisa is here, Dr. Rob's back with us. Let's go straight to the phones. Jane in Peterborough. Hello, Jane.
Hello, Dermot.
Go for it, Jane.
I think Roberto will be evicted this week, and that will then make Derek walk out, as he knows now he has no friends.
Interesting. Do you think that if Roberto leaves, or indeed if Derek leaves, it will force the other one to walk?
No, I don't think so, because, I mean, they're in there to win, but they will have no mates.
Yeah, but I think you'll see a big change. If Roberto left, I think Derek will be even funnier. Because I think people quite like Derek in the house. They don't hate him as much as
Do you think he
Roberto.
could assimilate himself back with the rest of the group
Yeah,
easier?
I think he probably could.
OK, brilliant. Thanks a lot, Jane. Caroline in Oxford. Hello, Caroline.
Hi, Dermot.
Go for it, Caroline.
Loving the show, Dermot.
Bless you.
I think if Derek went, there'd be anarchy, because he's the father figure that we all love to hate.
Yeah.
And it would leave the three amigos, Assassin Saskia, Maxwell Lapdog and Anthony, with nothing more to bitch about.
Do you think the house will be... I'm not going to ask you this because I know what your answer's going to be. Do you think the house will be a quieter and worse off place without Derek in terms of group interaction?
No, I think all of them, you know, they've got bundles of personality and they're just willing... They're just waiting for other people to leave so they can be even more, you know, sort of mad and stupid.
And lastly, Dave in Richmond. Hello, David. Hello, David. Hello, David. Oh. David, come on. David was obviously going to say Sam, OK? And David would have said that Sam would leave, but no one would miss her, which is a terrible thing to say. Bless. I feel like we've been a bit unfair to Sam today, all right?
Poor Sam.
Poor Sam.
There we go. 5 seconds of us just thinking about Sam. Thanks to Dr. Rob and Lisa, everybody. Diary Room Uncut, 7:30 EFL tonight. Of course, the main show, which you cannot miss tonight. It's amazing. 10 o'clock on Channel 4. We're back tomorrow at 5:25 with Justin Lee Collins. See you then.